We don't always ignore our feelings. Sometimes we postpone them. We tell ourselves there's no time, that it's not appropriate, that we'll deal with it later. So the feeling doesn't disappear, it waits. And while it waits, it starts to shape how we move, how we respond, how we choose. This reflection isn't about emotion as weakness. It's about what happens when feeling is delayed long enough that it begins to repeat itself as behavior. Patterns don't form because we feel too much. They form because something was felt and never given space to move through. Welcome. This is the Shift Your Perspective series where we talk about viewing everyday life from a different perspective. Today's topic is how suppressed feelings turn into patterns. We don't usually ignore our feelings, we postpone them. We tell ourselves, I'll deal with it later. Now isn't the right time. It's not that big of a deal. So the feeling doesn't disappear, it waits. Most people think suppressed feelings vanish. They don't. They settle. They move out of awareness and into the background of how we live. They begin to quietly shape our tone, our patience, our choices. Think about how often you said you were fine when something clearly wasn't. Not because you were lying, but because explaining felt like too much. So you smiled. You kept going. You handled it. And the feeling stayed unexpressed. At first, nothing seemed wrong. Life continues, responsibilities get met, people move on. But something subtle begins to repeat. Irritation shows up faster than it used to. Certain situations feel heavier than they should. The same arguments surface again and again, even when the circumstances change. That's not coincidence. That's emotion looking for an outlet. Suppressed feelings don't disappear, they reroute. Sadness becomes withdrawal. Anger becomes sarcasm. Fear becomes control. Grief becomes numbness. We call these traits or habits, but often they're unfinished emotional conversations. Most patterns aren't created by overreaction. They're created by underexpression, by moments where something was felt and never given room to move through the body, the voice, or the moment. That energy had to go somewhere. So it became behavior. This is why people say, I don't know why I keep ending up here. Or I don't know why this keeps happening to me. They're not failing to change. They're repeating what hasn't been felt. Clarity doesn't come from digging up every emotion or reliving the past. It comes from noticing what you're routinely avoiding feeling now. The pause you skip, the discomfort you minimize, the reaction you justify. Patterns form where feeling was delayed. This isn't about blame. At one point, suppression was protection. It helped you survive, function, stay connected. But what once protected you may now be asking for a different response. The shift doesn't require dramatic expression. Sometimes it begins with allowing a feeling to exist without fixing it, explaining it, or pushing it away. Just noticing it. Letting it pass through instead of settling in. Because when feelings are felt, they complete themselves. And when they complete themselves, they don't need to repeat. So here's the quiet question. Not to answer right now, just to notice. What emotion do you tend to postpone? And what pattern might be quietly creating in your life? You don't have to change anything today. Awareness interrupts repetition, and sometimes that interruption is the beginning of freedom. Let the words help to shift your perspective, and I'll meet you in the next shift.